systems have been founded on male domination and marginalization of women, using culture, traditional norms, and religion. And that's why we find most of the entrepreneurs in the world are mainly male. It does not mean that the women cannot do it. It's just that the background and the bedrock, how men have a reason to create wealth, it has been at the expense of our female partners. Let me just say that the rise of the entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs has been at the expense of women, and I'm going to just detail out a few things in a short while to say that entrepreneurship is about finding a need and meeting that need consistently, and also you must meet it sustainably. This means that one is exposed to the needs as well as resources, opportunities in a paternalistic environment. Society is such a heavy and difficult uphill task for the girl child. The domestic chores are skewed against the girl child. Whilst boys are out there experimenting on what they can do with gadgets, with nature, whatever they can do, the girl child has to clean up the place, make sure that she makes the home clean and livable whilst the boy child is there. Let me say that this is not even when they are young. When they get old, I've often been to funerals where there is a widow and where there is a widower. Where there is a widow, you find that the woman is put in a corner somewhere on the floor with lots of stuff around her, and everything else has been removed, and everybody has to come. But when there is a widower, they still sit in a comfortable chair, and everybody comes around. Such norms need to start to change. Otherwise, we continue to see the subjugation of women in a subtle but very firm way. It starts right there. Entrepreneurship then kicks in. Where would the women be when they're always tied to a corner, to the kitchen, to the bedroom, to all other household chores? Entrepreneurship is about equal access to financial resources. Our cultural inheritance laws need to be revisited, changed, revamped, and transformed altogether. Customary laws must be revisited to empower women so that they can have security and access to capital. The girl child appears to have no fixed abode. They go to one end, Mutoro. They come back to where they were born, Mutoro. So they have no fixed abode. That cultural norm has to be busted at some point. And that the girl child is entitled as an equal child wherever they are. I don't believe that women should change their surnames to suit the men. I'm not playing to the gallery, but I don't believe that it's necessary. Particularly if your name has now got brand equity. So if you're like me, and I think that my name has got a brand equity, and I'm a female, and someone wants to marry me, I ain't going to change my name. Why? It's just not wrong. It's a no man's land for the woman. We need to bring about that equity to them. Entrepreneurship is about taking risks which might endanger one's family. The traditional family structure inhibits women to take such risks because they've got to look after kids, they've got to look after the home, and they've got to be decent, steady somewhere. This means some days away from family. And women have to be allowed to go away. I know that in some countries there is maternity leave or paternity leave now. And I hope that in Zimbabwe we will start implementing paternity leave so that the woman can also do other things rather than be stuck with the child at home because they can't go anywhere else. So we need to get paternity for that so that the woman can get up, do something about their own businesses, run off and work and be creative out there. One of the things I experienced whilst in the hospitality sector over the past 25 to 28 years has been to see the rise or the composition of women in our business. The hospitality sector is quite labor intensive. We are the service industry. But when you find that in the lower ranks, when you look at our waiters, there is always an average of about 60% being female. However, the equation begins to change. When you get to middle managers, it scales up. It's now about 40% women and 60% male. When you get to the top, it's less than 2% female and 90% male. So, whilst everything else is being run, created at the base there, you will find that the hard work, the initiative, the creativity, the service is always done by the women. And let me say to you that I am no better hotelier than a woman who rises up there. Actually, my daughter has begun to pursue a career in hospitality. And I said, you will be the best hotelier ever. Because I know what women can do in the hospitality sector. Why? Is because as they go further up, here's what happens. The man says, no, you're not going to be spending time entertaining guests. So the male species begin to be jealous, possessive, and begins to oppress the female species. That also must stop. Because the male species mind thinks that everybody who is working in the hospitality sector is fooling around, is sleeping around, is playing around. That is not it. Actually, the women do the best. They don't fool around, they don't sleep around, they don't play around. It is actually the men that do that. So when you go up the ranks, the man says, look, I want to have children, but if you're going to have children, you can't be going to your hospitality job. That experience then tells the woman that they must start finding a job at home where they do some kind of, during the day, catering, cooking for other people. Nothing wrong with that situation, but let me say to you that it has to start with the male species beginning to understand that we need to let go our women, we need to empower them, we need to see them as equals, we need to ensure that they have an equal opportunity just as we have got over the years. Let me just finish off by a call to action. Here's a call to action I can make so that the entrepreneurship is quite augmented and supported and resourced by the female species, who I believe become better entrepreneurs if they are given the opportunity. I'm not playing to the gallery. I've seen better women entrepreneurs out there, passionate, diligent, disciplined. They leave no stone unturned. No girl child should miss school because of lack of funding or because they do not have sanitary pads when it is that time to have their periods. No girl child, because that is the beginning of subjugation when you want them to be entrepreneurs. Tomorrow you say, you're not so well, stay at home. They must be allowed to exercise their full right, whether they are well or not well. The second call to action. Most of our children's homes are over 60% girl child. This, in my deduction, means that it's easier to dump, to neglect, to throw away a girl child than a male child. Because the population is about 50-50 or 51-49. Actually, there's more girls out there. So which means that there is a thinking out there, there is a disposition that says it is okay to dump the girl child. Let me say that we need a paradigm shift. That paradigm shift starts off by our mindset towards teenage pregnancies, our mindset towards unwanted pregnancies, so that we do not have the girl child being dumped there and being second-class citizens because they're picked up in the street. Well, last call to action is that those of us who are in government, in parliament, we need the marriage laws to be transformed. We cannot continue anymore. Our women will continue to languish in poverty, yet they're the most hardworking. Let's change those laws to support the girl child, the woman, so that they can be better entrepreneurs at the end of the day. God bless you and have a wonderful day.